Okay, so, hi, hello, welcome back to another Creepypasta story video. Today, Creepypasta we are going to be reading is Click the Link, but before we get into it, I do want to say a few things. First off, this video is a one take, so if you do hear me stumble, mumble, fumble, and mess up my words, I am sorry. I don't really have any editing software, but that should change in a few months, but I'm not too sure when this video is going to go live. Second thing I do want to say, please consider using code GOONS at gamerstuffs.gg. It's code GOONS. GamerStubs is pretty much Kool-Aid for adults. It has caffeinated and non-caffeinated versions. They have a lot of wonderful flavors and all that stuff. The link is down below with the description and all that stuff, so go check them out. They have pretty cool products, and I think you'll like them. Okay, so outside that, let's get into it. Also, I do want to say one more thing. I did record this video earlier, like a couple months ago. But when I went back to look at my channel manager and like the videos I have like prepped, I couldn't find it. So I don't know if I deleted it or I titled the story differently, but I'm gonna be rereading it again. So let's get into it. This creepypasta is called Click the Link. I had always loved horror movies in my younger days, and I may have not realized it, but I was a glutton for the terror that the films would instill in me. I subconsciously loved how they kept me up at night. The small, fearful eyes scanning my bedroom shadows for whatever sorts of creature that may be calling the darkness upon the darkness's home. It was to the point where I would wake up in the early hours of the morning, around 1 a.m. or so, to sneak into the living room and watch the late night screamers that would air. And often, I would get caught by my mother or father about halfway through into my shenanigans, seated on the couch and wrapped up in my blankie, while clutching a little teddy bear with my eyes fixated on the television screen. I would be sent to the bed immediately and told that my punishment will come in the morning, but my punishment never came. My parents were too tired at the time to actually remember apprehending me. And on a rare occasion, though, I managed to make it all the way through a film, and from the time that I slipped into the couch to the moment that the credits rolled, and at that point, the trudge back to my bedroom was a mad dash of fright, trying to evade any and all monsters or boogaboos that, in my impressionable mind, would grab at me and take me away. I was always successful in the return trip, and it made me feel like Indiana Jones. Although, I don't love horror films anymore. Not after what had happened recently. I was in college, and when the event occurred. While most people associate university with wild parties and copious amounts of alcohol, and finding as many people to have anonymous sex with, my version of the experience was more tame by those standards. The evenings were not spent furiously poring over my projects and classwork, were spent with my one true love. The evenings not spent furiously poring over my projects and classwork were spent with my one true love, my Netflix account. From the moment my last class of the day ended, I was wrapped in the sweet embrace of the internet had awaiting for me. I would return to my dorm, slip into my bedroom and into something more comfortable, and spend until about 4 in the morning watching whatever horrors the streaming site had available to me. And for the price of $7.99 a month, it was the best and cheapest addiction I have ever encountered. The people that I chose to interact with when I wasn't glued to my laptop were often often of the same ilk that I was. Individuals who were just as obsessive over movies, and that individuals that loved to be scared. And we often spoke of it. We compared reviews, discussed theories, and often got together to partake in these places of nightmare fuel. Usually once a week on a Saturday in a grand marathon session that was catered by the local pizza place and a large snack trip beforehand, to prepare for when we were sick of the smell of grease and cheese. Many of us were members of a horror enthusiast forum, to meet and talk with more people who shared our twisted ideas of entertainment. I have since removed myself completely from that site. Due to the vast duration of time that I'd been with my Netflix account, I had practically exhausted their selection of movies to stream that were my taste. I watched the classics, the cult favorites, the flops, the silent, the screamers, the spookers, the slashers, the foreign. Short of paying extra for a DVD plan, my partner in crime was becoming repetitive. I'd even resorted to watching the one stars, the films that were too terrible to even consider horror, but still somehow made the list. Filled with poorly crafted CG effects that were more terrifying than the monsters that were trying to scare me with. I lamented this to my forum mates, complaining of the lack of fresh choices upon the site that filled my browser history. Many of my friends from school were having the same problems and were voicing their woes, and within the same thread that I had begun. Looking back on it now, I realized that this was the worst mistake that I could have ever made. Had I not started that thread, some of us might still remain among the living, finding new ways to garner our thrills. Scream Queen 69 was her username from the forum, as I won't refer to anyone by their true name to protect the families. They had approached us at a meeting grounds the following day, and which was our usual location of gathering. Our usual location of gathering was behind the campus building. It was an area of concrete that sloped downwards to a door, and we all assumed it led to the art department basement. The top of the wall that enclosed our cold stone hill blocked off by the fence, so no one could accidentally fall and injure themselves. As our group sat and talked, SQ had arrived, looking a little worse for wear. There were dark circles under her eyes, and she looked just tired, and her face was pale. She often looked so bright and sun-kissed, and she used to be so full of energy. She had said that shortly after she posted on the forums that night before, she had been contacted by another member asking if she wanted to watch something and she spoke and gave air quotes with her fingers that would change the genre for her forever, and then proceeded to send her a link to an obscure site that she had never seen of before. Tween Wolf rolled his eyes, suggesting that they were only trying to suggest a film for her to watch, that she was being crazy for annoying them. I was growing concerned, but however, as she recounted that though she originally ignored the person, they sent her messages constantly afterwards. They started out mild enough, along the lines of, "Did you watch it?" and "What did you think?" And as the night went on, they got more violent. SQ showed me the chat history, and towards the end, it seemed that her chat partner named Behind You was getting more and more agitated, and the messages were becoming desperate. "Did you click the link yet? You should click the link. You won't regret it. Click the link. Click the damn link already. Click the fucking link! Click the link, click the link, click the link, click the link," and so on. It was at that point that I grew incredibly concerned for my friend. No one else had received these messages, only her. My only advice to her was to ignore it and perhaps stay off the site for a few days. If this person didn't see her online, perhaps they would lose interest and back off. That wasn't the case, however, as SQ would come to us for the next couple of days looking more and more haggard, saying that she couldn't rest at night. Behind You was still messaging her at this point. It was just a repeat of the original link, pasted over and over and over. She was starting to get emails sent to her school email account. She didn't know how they'd even gotten her email address. It wasn't listed on any of the forums, and it wasn't even the same one that she registered to the site with. The sender would be blank and the subject link empty, and the message box was always the same. Just click the link. Her inbox was flooded with at least hundreds of emails by the time that she had returned from classes, and all the emails were the same. And then the text appeared. All unknown numbers of all zeros. All at all hours of the day. It said, click the link. Even when her phone was on silent, the sound would still ring out. It will turn off. If the phone was turned off, it will still ring. She would remove the battery completely and still be startled by the noise of her text tone. She had submerged her phone in water and tried to damage it and get rid of the noise, but it still rang. She had even put it in the microwave and turned it on for 5 minutes, knowing that if the appliance was broken, she would have to pay for replacement, seeing as the appliance was provided by the dorm building. Even burnt and melted in pieces, the battery removed and fried, it rang. It was getting to the point where SQ was growing more and more frazzled, each and every cell phone going off around her, causing her to shriek. By the 5th day, she hadn't shown up to lunch. Most of us just assumed that she was just trying to catch up on sleep from the incident keeping her up at night. We didn't realize that she had died until 2 days later, when her roommates complained about a smell coming from her room. The police blocked off the dorm room, and her roommate was moved out to live with someone else in the building. They ruled her death as a suicide, claiming that SQ had overdosed on sleeping pills. She was found slumped over on her desk in front of her laptop, with the forum pulled up on her browser. I had managed to worm my way into her room a few days after cleanup had ended. Her family lived on the other side of the country and wouldn't be in for another day or two to gather her things. And I had convinced the building RA that Scream Queen 69 had been in possession of a few of my items, and I just needed to get them back before they were mistakenly removed with her belongings. The RA had left me there, saying that the doors will lock behind me once I leave. So when I was alone in the room, since I was alone in the room where my friend had passed away, I decided to remove her laptop from her desk, not wanting to sit in her death throne, and I took her laptop over to the bed. SQ never kept her items password protected, and left herself logged in on everything. So, it was easy enough to turn on the computer and navigate my way back to the very forum that she had been looking at when she died. I had found my way to her inbox, looking at the hundreds of messages from her apparent stalker, when I noticed something different. One of the masked links, out of the masked links, one of them was purple. It had been clicked. I grew curious about what this movie was. What was it about this movie that made the person so obsessive to show it to SQ? What is the thing that had driven SQ to kill herself? So, I clicked the link. At first, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. The video was dark, and as though it was trying to slowly process the images. Then things were starting to come in focus. A desk, posters on a wall, a person sitting on a bed, a person standing behind them with a large, toothy grin. It was at this point that I realized I was staring at my own face, sitting in SQ's bedroom, her posters behind me, and the webcam light was on. Okay, so that was Click the Link. Hopefully y'all enjoy the creepypasta. I read that story before, and I don't know what honestly happened to it in like my YouTube manager thing like that. So yeah, hopefully y'all enjoyed this iteration. And yeah, all my links are down below if you do want to follow me anywhere else. GamerSubs is down there too. You use code GOONS at gamersubs.gg. You get 10% off at checkout, and I think they have a new flavor out today. I'm not too sure. I think it's like something revolving around bow, but I'm not too sure. But yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I'm going to keep you guys here just for a little bit longer so I can clip it at a minute's time. But yeah, hopefully y'all enjoyed this story. I'm not too sure when this video is coming out, as I mentioned, but I should have a PC soon. So I do want to say thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye everyone.